Seems like a lot of the sisters are here and the brothers are trickling in. I'll go a bit more. Is it better that I go a bit more central? Oh, I see. I think I'm here because of the setup here. Okay. It's easy. Yeah. I need an escape route. Okay, so we thought about the timings in the morning are getting quite tight. I know I ate my breakfast quite quickly. I can feel that I did. So we're going to start 10:15, but then we'll go to 1:15, if that's all right. So maybe the break comes at 11:15 or something like that. So that would make it a little bit less rushed in the morning. So let's start with some remembrance of Baba and then we'll begin. The sleep program that we're going to give out. And I just want to check in with you. Did you have a good night's sleep? Some people are a bit nervous the first night. Oh my gosh, if I don't get this sleep, all these things are going to happen to me. But the most important thing really is when you woke up, did you use that 10 minutes? That 10 minutes when you wake up is your prime time. So really fill that 10 minutes with, your love for Baba, how Baba sees you, how you're a special soul. Dare yourself to have the most elevated thought you can think of about yourself. What would be the highest thought you can think about yourself in that 10 minutes? And you'll make great progress in your life. So we can give out the handouts. You're getting extra handouts that the others didn't get in that other group. So there's one about understanding the sleep cycles and how much sleep do you really need. And there's a little bit of repetition in them. But if you read these, you'll see that a lot of the slides I got was from these handouts. They're very good handouts. And if you study that, you really would have, with a bit more research and your own experience, you'd have enough to deliver a course on sleep. The other handout is about walking. And it's about the human body is made to walk. And if we want to increase our sleep, we also have to get ourselves out in the light. And they say that 30 minutes a day is really good. But you don't have to do it all at once. You could do 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. You could do 15 and 15. You could do 20 and 10. But they're encouraging, half an hour's walk, 30 minutes walk. So we all need to think about how we do that. Maybe it is at your lunch break. Dare you leave the desk and go for a walk? It takes courage, isn't it? If the whole culture is that you sit at your desk for someone to get up and go out for half an hour. But in England, we're not paid for our lunch breaks, but most people are working through them. So it takes a courageous soul to go against the culture, isn't it? But you never know, you might start a new craze. And I remember my father, who was in a management position, he never allowed anyone to stay at their desk at lunchtime. He said, go out. I think very wise, actually, because actually, when you come back, you're more productive. You're more creative. And I see that for myself. Like some days when I stop at 12, I go for a little walk to the park, and there's some little machines there you can do little exercises on. And then I come back and have lunch. When I come back to the desk, I'm fresh. My best work comes, really. And I feel that for the time we take out, we actually gain. We gain. So it's thinking about that. Or else on the way home, can you get off a stop earlier and walk? Can you park your car, and before you go into your house, can you walk? It's just providing times when you can. So this morning we went to Lalbar, is that right? Lalbar Park before Muli. We walked around. So I think we've got in our 30 minutes. Okay, so everyone's got these. So that's the end of the session. Just want to finish that about the sleep. And now we've got a completely new session. So you've got a completely new journal. So if you've got space in your other journals, please use it. Like the one on sleep. Start recording what you did. How much sleep did you get? Start use it to become more aware of what cycles you have. You know, not to get nervous about it, but every night we get a new chance. Every night we get a new chance to do it a little different, to change a habit. And if you watch, you'll see the things that aid you getting better sleep, and you'll start to see what you'll start saying, I'm not doing that again. Yeah? So use the journal. The creative visualization, if you've got space in that journal, you could take something from the Murli, because Baba has a lot of imagery in the Murli, and start thinking, what does Baba mean by that? So what does Baba mean by that imagery? What's the qualities behind that imagery? How can I apply that to myself? How can I use it in my life? So, you know, Baba's Murli is packed with different imagery, so you can take something from it and work with it. Rapid eye movement. Rapid eye movement just means that time when you're sleeping, your eyes are moving very fast. There's a lot of activity in your brain, and your eyes are moving. So now we're moving on to a different topic, and that is called Journal Writing for Self-Discovery. And this course, when I run it in the UK, as the full course, is 2 days. So we're getting it down to 2 sessions. So I picked out the best bits, probably, something like that. So I wanted to just introduce a little bit about writing. So I have got some PowerPoint slides in this, but very few, because this program is not really about, it's about a little bit of information, but I want them to understand it by exploring it for themselves. So I don't need that many slides. So journal writing. So there's 4 natural modes of expression in journal writing. So cathartic, and I'll go through what these mean. Cathartic, descriptive, free, intuitive, and reflective. These are the main ones. And most writing that you'll read will fall into these categories. I mean, probably there's another category which they use for news, which is just quite factual. So let's have a look at cathartic. So I'll let you read this, and then I'll pick up some points. Can everyone see it? Can you see? Can you see? You can see the screen? Yes, so you only can see half the screen. So either we have to move this board back, or there's not many slides, so we can move it and then we'll move the board after. I'm sort of doing it all at once, really. Actually, there is one video today, I forgot. There is one video. But later on. Yeah. Second part. So, this is cathartic writing, and it's writing when you're in an emotion. So maybe something happened, someone did something, and it's an outpouring onto the page. So spelling and things like that aren't important. It's just getting that emotion out. And it's very helpful, actually. It may include blame in there. It may be all the things that we don't want to do, but it's getting it out rather than it going around in your head. Yeah? Because when something's going around in your head, it's completely subjective. And at least when you get it on the paper, you've got a chance to become more objective about it. You can start asking questions about it. So this is, it is about, you know, getting it out. But the aim is that once it's out, it helps you become more emotionally balanced. So this is cathartic. So if someone's really doing cathartic writing, it could look really, really messy and blotchy, and you can actually feel, almost probably feel the vibration from what they've written, how they've written. So the next one is descriptive writing. I'll let you read that. Can you see? So this is the writing, most novels are about descriptive writing. But also, you know, you could write about an experience that you've had. And actually, again, we talked about things moving from short-term memory into longer-term memory. If we write in detail about something, then it's not only is it recorded for us to read later, but it's helping it to go into that long-term memory. So some of the important words here. It's about events, things that happen, but it also shows when you write about something, you can be selective in what you write. So in a way, what you wrote shows your value system, what you valued. Because in any event or any experience, there's lots of things we could notice, but what do we notice? And what we notice and what we record for ourselves shows what's going on in us, actually. So, for example, you could have had a very lovely event, and at the last time, at the moment when you're clearing up after the event, someone says something and it really hurts your feelings. And that might be the thing that you remember out of the whole event. You know, then 2 days later, that might be what's going on in your head, rather than the rest of the day, that was this very lovely experience. Yeah. So when we write, it in a way shows us what we value. Thank you. So it shows what we value and what's meaningful for us. And in a way, it can become quite interesting writing, because the writer is picking things that were interesting for them, and therefore when we read it, you know, all the other bits are left out. So that's quite good. So those are two forms of writing. The third one, here comes traffic control. So free intuitive writing. I love this kind of writing. When I write, most nights I write, and in a way I just kind of, Dear Baba, Om Shanti, and then I let whatever's got to come out, you know, and some fascinating things come out from during the day. Some things that were noticed that I didn't know that I noticed, actually. And it's quite fascinating kind of writing. And it's the way I do my chart, because lists and the 108 points, the percentages, I used to think right from the beginning, but how do I know what percentage it is? I could be thinking it's this percentage and something else. You know, I could be deceiving myself. So I thought it's much safer for me to just write. And actually, if you write a letter to Baba and it's really about your experiences and what you're having, it keeps you really close. I feel like I've developed a very close, intimate relationship with Baba through writing. And there's something about when you write, there's part of you that knows that you're honouring yourself. It's just like when we do yoga, there's part of us that knows that we're honouring ourselves. And actually once, Sister Genti said it. She said it as a throwaway phrase, and I kind of thought, come back and explore this. But she said it as a throwaway phrase that in one class, that if you don't write, you can't progress. But then she was on to the next thing. But she said it as a statement. If you don't write, you won't progress. So that's quite a big thing, isn't it? So reflective. I'll let that come up. Sorry if am I blocking? I'm blocking. I'll sit down. Safe out of the way. In a minute, let you read it. So also this is a very beautiful kind of writing. So for example, if you've had that cathartic outpour, you know, that may be enough for then, but they say real healing happens when you start reflecting on that cathartic writing. And maybe it's maybe asking a question of it. Like the questions it's got here, what is really bothering me? So often the trigger, there's a trigger in life that creates the cathartic outpour, but usually that's just a trigger. So when we get the outpour there and we say, okay, what's really bothering me? Then in that reflective writing, we may get some really deep insights into ourselves and maybe a belief system that we're holding that is not true. Because I think any time we get upset, it's actually telling us there's a belief system that we're holding that is defunct. So, you know, the drama is brilliant in that way. If we can really use what happens in the drama, that if I get have uncomfortable feelings, or I have a feeling of prejudice, or any of those feelings, dislike someone, anything like that, it's actually come to help me let go of a faulty belief system. So, my aim is to show you a model that can help you see clearly how this works. So the reflective writing is a very healing kind of writing, and many of the famous writers, they didn't just think, oh, I'm going to write a book. Maybe nowadays people tend to think like that. Let me write a book so I can make a lot of money. I think maybe that's, you know, but some of the real great writers, for example, I shared about Dickens, he had insomnia. So in a way it was a coping mechanism, you know. And some of the writers, they wrote because they had an issue. And they used the characters to help resolve the issue that they were holding inside, or the pain that they were holding inside. So it's a bit like when people create a drama or something. They're actually, most directors of film, there's part of themselves in the play. Yeah, I did a play, I was in a play last December, and it was called Alice, and I was the Red Queen. And the Red Queen is not a nice personality, very opposite from a Brahmin personality, but it was absolutely fantastic to play because it was so cathartic. I think a lot of BKs came up to me and they said, you know, I think we've healed from watching you. Because on the stage I could be angry, I could be obnoxious, I could be, you know, and in fact the director of the play, he said, you know, you need to be more extreme. Every time, you need to be more extreme. So, you know, it was quite interesting that I had, but that I could see that a seed of that character was in me. Obviously not in the extreme that I portray, because I can't cut off people's heads and things like that. But there was a seed of it, and the seed of the story is that character, there's a hurt, and that hurt has led to bitterness, and then that bitterness gets projected out. So it's the same for us, you know, any hurt that's inside, it tends to come out in our behaviors, our tone of voice, whatever. And writing is a brilliant way for healing, actually. And about, must be at least 6 years ago now, there was even, I'd already been in Brahmin life for, you know, nearly 20 years. And, you know, a family member who I hadn't seen for about 30 years came back into our family situation. At first it was all, oh, that's really jolly, but there was lots of things from that time that I'd suppressed, and they started to come up, and quite powerfully. And I used writing. I used writing. I was writing every night to Baba, and that and yoga, which is what I'll describe about the model, is it was really fantastic. Really fantastic. I learned so much about myself, and I released a lot through writing. So it is a great method. And again, so in a way, that's all of the slides for the moment, and we're going to start using these. So you'll understand them more as we start using. Just this one handout is from the sleep one. It's the human body is made to walk. So I'll leave you to read that in your own time, but just so I clear the desk. So in a way, I've already been thinking about yesterday, and yesterday, in fact, when I put programs together, I don't even think about the auditory learners, to be honest. I don't, because they're going to get it. As soon as you open your mouth, they're going to get sustained, yeah? But the visual learners, I pay attention to. That's why videos and things I include. But the kinesthetic learners, wow, it's really challenging in a way to serve the kinesthetic learners. So today, you know, we are looking more at the kinesthetics, because the kinesthetic learners need movement. And of course, writing is movement, so it's great for kinesthetic learners. So anytime you can include something where at least they write something, you're helping those souls. So in a way, when you're putting together a program, that's the group, the kinesthetic learners, and generally they tend to be the activists. They tend to be the activists as well. So just let you settle down with that handout that you can read later. It's not for now. But I'd like to have a journal myself, because I'm going to write. So in a way, when I run this course in the world, I'm not saying it's the favourite course, but I love this course because I write as well. And, you know, I've seen how people really shift gear, so it's really brilliant. So if I could have a journal from the writing journals. Yeah, is there another one of those? They finished. You didn't have enough. No, then just a piece of paper for me. No. No. You put your name on it. You've got to have it. I can just have one of the pads of paper. One of the pads of paper. You know you had some extra pads? No. Let the guests have it.
I see what's best checking.
No. You have it. You know you had that extra pads. That's it. That's what I'll use. That's great. Thank you. I just need a pen. That's great. So one of the things when you're doing journal writing, you need to provide some kind of journal for them. Or you need to put in your literature, please bring a journal. But a lot of people, they don't really know what that means. So you need to provide something. Of all the courses, you need to provide something like this, so they've got something to write in. And then you can encourage them to go buy a journal that they like. It's much easier to write if you've got nice pens, different coloured pens, whatever. It's like making it a nice creative experience. You know, if you pick up a pen, it's all scratchy, it's going to put you off. But if you've got a pen that flows and you can make it look nice, that's great. Cathartic writing, it will never look nice, but the rest. So let's start our first little exercise. And for this exercise, you just need a pen. Now, there are some criteria for this particular exercise. And the criteria is write in the language that you're most comfortable with. So it might be, you know, your first language, or they call it your mother tongue. Yeah? So if you're completely fluent in English, no problem. But there may be another language. You may be better in Hindi or the local language. So always encourage people to write in their first language. In London, it's absolutely multicultural, cosmopolitan city. So often the people in the class, English is their second language. So that's the first instruction. The second one in the criteria is spelling doesn't matter. It's not important in this exercise. The other criteria is it doesn't even have to really make sense. The point is that you're just going to start writing. So grammar, spelling, making sense is not really important. But there is one criteria that is really important, because I'm going to give you a question, and I'm only going to... Where's the clock gone? Yeah, so I'm going to give you a question, and I'm going to time you, and we're just going to do a minute, yeah? Just going to do a minute. But there is one criteria that you have to fulfill, and I don't mind if you write rubbish, but obviously there's a topic I'm going to give you. But the criteria that you need to follow is that you have to keep writing. You have to keep writing, you mustn't stop. Does everyone understand? So spelling doesn't matter, grammar doesn't matter, do it in your first language. But once I ask the question and I say start, you must not start writing for 1 minute. Yeah? Is that okay? Clear? Clear? So even if you have to write, I don't know what to write to keep you going, you write that. Okay, so are we all ready? Are we all ready? With pens poised? Everyone's got a book? Everyone's got a book? Or a pad? Something. They need something to write on. Because when I say the question, you've only got a minute, yeah? So this is the question. If you were an aspect of nature, and we mean it can be anything from the natural world, plants, animals, landscape, whatever you like. If you were an aspect of nature, what would you be and why? Your minute is starting now. If you were an aspect of nature, what would you be and why? I shouldn't be hearing any voices. Stop. So that's your minute. Yeah? Yeah? Everyone okay? Everyone managed to keep writing? Might not make sense, whatever. That's not the important thing. Right, so when you're writing, you shouldn't be talking. Is that okay? Everyone understand that? When you're writing, you're writing. When you get time to share, your time to share. If you don't understand the instruction I give you, I am absolutely fine for you to raise your hand and say, could you explain it again? Or it may mean that someone has to explain it to you in your first language. I'm absolutely fine about that. But once you start writing, I don't want people saying, what did she mean? That is a big no-no, yeah? Okay, so here we go. So what I'd like you to do is to read through what you've written, and I want you to circle 3 words that stand out for you. It can be any words, but just 3 words. Just circle 3 words. So it will look something like this. Yeah, so I've got a... So I've just circled 3 words, yeah? You try. Okay, so just for Balabai. So it'd be something like and all you're doing is reading and thinking, oh, that one looks really interesting, that one, and that one. Yeah? So I'd like you to keep that on your lap, and I'd like you to close your eyes. And in a minute, I'm going to ask you to open your eyes. But when you open your eyes, I want you to take note of the first word of those 3 circled words that your eye notices. So open your eyes, and which of those 3 circled words do you first see? So if you could write that word underneath. So what I mean by that is, if that's the one you first see, that's the word you write, and you can underline it, because that's your next topic. Yeah? Everyone understands the instructions? I'm very happy if you raise your hand if you don't. Okay, okay. So that's your next topic. So you're going to write on that topic for 1 minute, starting from now. Okay, stop. Was it a bit easier? Yeah. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing. You're going to read what you've written and you're going to circle 3 words. Okay, so again, you're going to close your eyes. No, you just pick 1 word of that phrase. Yeah? No, the first word of those 3 that you see on the paper. On the paper. Yeah? So this time I want you to close your eyes, but I want you to just hold your book and move your book around a bit. So you have no real sense of where the writing is. Okay, so same procedure. When you open your eyes, look down, which is the word that you first see. So again, that's your topic. Starting from now. Okay, finish. Okay, so I'd like you to find someone that you haven't talked to the last couple of days and to share what you've written, the 3rd paragraph. Just to share what you've written. So you can tell them the aspect of nature that you started with and then share what you've written. Yeah. Okay, so maybe it's easier to stand up and find someone. Again, I'm keeping a very close eye, so if sisters and brothers want to talk to each other, no problem. I'm quite pucker in that. Anyone who hasn't got a partner, they can come to me. Here's a brother that's free. Yeah, what you're doing is you're going to... 1 second. What you're doing is you're sharing the aspect of nature that you started with. And you're not sharing the paragraph. You're just saying, I was a flying bird or I was a lion. Just say what it was and then read the 3rd paragraph to the other person, and then you change over. So it should take about a minute each. So is anyone not got a partner? Could you raise your hand if you don't have a partner? You've got a partner. Anyone else not got a partner? So you 2 together. Oh, yesterday you met. Okay. So did you meet yesterday? So maybe one of you go with one and one go with the other. Yeah. Yeah. Ah. Did you 2 meet yesterday? Okay, so next time when you do for now, but next time when I ask you to move, just move quickly. Find someone new. Go to the sister's side, yeah? Okay, once you're done, if you take a seat. So it's quite quick, say the thing. Isn't that amazing? So we want 3 courageous brothers and 3 fearless sisters to come and share what they've written. So 3 courageous brothers and 3 fearless sisters. Good. Okay, so here's the mic. After traffic.
Hello.
Another one. We lost one.
Om Shanti. I'll be very quick. The first minute I chose myself rose, water, rabbit and peacock. And 3 words I have highlighted like rose, water and peacock. And the word I chose among 3 when I first saw is rose. And the reason is it is different from other flower. And it fascinates.
So what you're doing is you're just saying the first thing that you wrote down, the aspect of nature.
Yes.
Reading
Yeah.
the third.
Yeah. I would be the rose, water, a grass, waterfall, whatever I felt myself. And then out of which I chose, I felt that one word that touched me is rose. Rose. Yeah. So, and then why about the rose? You asked me to the next 2 minutes to write about it. Okay. The last one was leading. Leading. Yeah. Leading. Yeah. So, yeah, leading, yeah. So here, leading wherein, yeah, I would like to work with people to achieve a target. I always enjoy working and leading them, and I get a chance to see each one's potential and use them appropriately in the task. So I feel good to lead myself and others.
So we go to the brothers. So first the word that you started with, the third paragraph, you last paragraph you wrote.
Yeah, started with mountains and ended with the last word as flow. Yeah, and the paragraph was flowing like a river without any bondage, being herself, free flow, like the first time going to meet her love, like there is no end, going beyond horizon. On the way, there you said stop.
Finish it later.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very nice.
Shanti. I started with the first object is sun, being, ended with ekarasasthiti. Ekarasasthiti, stable of mind, maintaining stable of mind. So Baba always call it as a ekarasasthiti.
So you're going to read in Hindi?
I wrote it in English, Hindi mixed. Yeah, when we are in ekarasasthiti, so we can achieve whatever we want. That is what Baba asks us to do every day. So that is what.
I don't need to explain it, I want you to read what you're going to do. Yeah? There's a difference, isn't there? There's a difference in explaining what you're going to actually read it.
Sure. So always maintaining state of mind is what Baba call it as a ekarasthiti. So when we achieve that, when we do that, when we practice it, we will achieve that our dream destiny. That is what we wanted in Satyuga. Yeah. Thank you.
I started with the visualization of nature. So it was like a beautiful landscape with natural fragrances. Then it was so nice that any negative mood can be changed into positive. And the beautiful. The last thing I found the word around. Around. So yeah. So it was like a spring, water, bird sound, lot of oxygen, fruits, flowers, cool weather, and happy mood.
Om Shanti. The word I started with is peacock and I ended with this deities. Deities, Devi Devatas. Yeah, Brahmin will become Devatas and they will live in Satyug. And they have a lot of good qualities, divine virtues, and they have 16 kala hearts, Sola Kala Sampurn, and they are very pure and they are very happy. This is the message.
Shanti. What I chose as a tree, as an aspect of nature, and I ended up with the word elated, feeling elated to be in a best state of mind. It is a state which I can get out the best of best in me. The elated stage is where when I don't have any guilt and neither any desire to get back something from it.
Om Shanti. I started with the word rose and ended with love. I love myself as I am. I love God. I love the entire godly family. I love nature. I love to serve the world. I love my real qualities. I love to be my real self. I love to spread vibrations of love.
We could make that one into an affirmation. So Ken, I'm going to invite 2 brothers up and 2 sisters. What did you learn about the process, not the content? So we just done content, yeah? Content. What was your observation about the process of that exercise? So not explaining the word or what we've written, it's to explain something about the process that happened. What happened inside you? What did you notice as you wrote? So more about the process rather than the content, yeah? Different.
So Om Shanti, when you asked me to write the aspects, usually the conscious mind started thinking and I remembered like no thinking. So I didn't know what to write. I just started writing whatever is there in the nature. So then I could understand that it is the subconscious voice. And it was like general marking when you told like close your eyes and see. That was also like the voice of the subconscious. Otherwise maybe I would have just seen and then thought. So the whole process one by one, it was coming so naturally. And the clarity, it gave me a clarity, like what was deep within me and what was I willing. So that was a beautiful experience. Thank you.
Like she mentioned also that the depth actually of any topic that we may start with something, but going in depth with a particular link, how our thoughts work. So that exercise of reflection in the middle of just taking a pause and then seeing the 3 words and what may be the... So for myself, I noticed that there may have been a couple of positive words as well as some negative words while in that writing of 1 minute. So the natural process was to pick up the positive word, but probably we need to work on the negative aspects if we still have those in our writings, or because that is the one which will help us overcome, probably. So the depth is what I noticed in this whole process. Thank you.
Okay, sure. What do you mean no brothers are coming? I can see 2 jumping up right now. Go ahead, go share, and while they can take this.
Okay. I'm quite used to writing kind of this, but this time what happened is the words and the thoughts are just flowing, and I was like being sakshi, being trustee out of it, and just looking how I'm just going with the flow, how keep on writing and without worrying what I'm writing, why I'm writing, this make, as you said. So that experience was kind of that trusty stage we see, like observing our own thoughts, how they are just flowing and without any disturbance or any control we are putting on it. So different kind of experience.
This exercise invoked the artistic part of our mind. Like, as we hear that word nature, then I thought of sky, and then the next word flow like a waterfall kind of. The next level, and it is going deeper and deeper, and exploring more and more values related stuff, or kind of those expressions are coming out very easily. And as you said, we were not worried about the spelling or sentence formation, etc. And it came very well.
Om Shanti. I started with the word tree, and it was very easy to write on that. So the flow was very natural. And in fact, I write, so the flow was very natural without thinking about spelling and grammar and all of that, so which was nice. And it ended with the word getting, which was actually the toughest to write for me. And I could write the least in that 1 minute. But the second word was giving, which was again a very natural flow. So which basically shows that maybe in our back of the mind, we also have something which we want, but that is not our natural instinct. So getting is not the natural instinct, giving probably is the natural instinct. So writing the third one was a little tough for me. Otherwise, the first and the second was in a nice flow. So.
So a very good point was raised here, that we don't want to... Do you want to share something? Come. So this is the last one, and then we're moving on.
Actually, this is a very beautiful process which made us aware of what actually we are, and lastly, it led us to what is the most important thing, what is the craving of the soul, what at this moment of time I want to feel, I want to have, I want to experience, like Super Senses Joyce was in my, it came out. So this process leads very beautifully to what is the requirement of the soul at this point of time. Thank you.
So a very interesting point was mentioned about when we're writing, we don't want to avoid our negativity, but because this was the first activity, I've kind of led it towards something positive. But actually, the negative stuff that we write is really super important as well. And as you become more practiced in writing and more skilled in writing, actually, you're also looking out for some of the Freudian slips that you make. You know this phrase, Freudian slip? You think you've written something, but actually you've written something else. And that is your subconscious. Yeah, you can't, a Freudian slip, you can't make it happen. It happens. It's like you thought you were writing. I mean, sometimes I get it with the Murley notes. I thought I'd wrote something, and then I look at it, I think, wow, that's interesting. Bit revealing, yeah? So, and so those are really important as well, because that's the subconscious speaking without you knowing. Because your conscious mind is doing something else, subconscious slips it in. So, yeah, we don't want to avoid it, but we're on a journey, and we will cover that as we go. So I'd like you to write about, so that, what kind of writing do you think that was? Out of the four? Yeah, free intuitive writing, yeah? So it's almost like but you have to set it up where there's no, where you have to bypass the thinking mind. So the way where that exercise is set up is bypassing, because the thinking mind looks for spelling mistakes, looks for you know, the critic starts jumping in your conscious mind. So you have to set up the exercise to bypass that. It's like everyone has to realize that doesn't matter. That's not the point. Otherwise, we'll start to do it. Yeah, and then you get something else. You don't get the flow. You get the kind of critic coming in. Yeah. So I'd like you to write about something. So this is more cathartic. I'd like you to write about, for about 2 minutes, something that's bothering you. As BKs, we are allowed to admit that there are things that bother us. Have you ever not heard Baba say the storms will come? Has Baba said that, or has Baba not? Raise your hands if you've heard that in the Murli. God, through Brahma Baba, has said that storms will come. So why are we surprised? God's already said it, so why are we surprised when they come? Yeah? So, write down something that's bothering you. Currently bothering you. Yeah, it could be something about your own self, you know, maybe something at work, in your home life, maybe something in a relationship that you're having, whatever you like. So you've got 2 minutes starting now. So that's your 2 minutes. So I want you to read that again, and maybe this time just underline some words, but then I'm going to ask you some questions. Just underline, maybe it can be a word or a phrase that really stands out for you, or you may think, oh, that's interesting. That's a bit revealing about me. Yeah, that's what you're looking for. Oh, look, I've got some fun here. That was easy. I went on this experiential course. It was about helping people, I guess, overcoming stage fright. So they had this bell at the end of the stage. So people came up, their knees were shaking, and they had to say something, right? but at the end, they had to press a bell, and the bell said, "That was easy." Thought that we could use that for BKs in helping them overcome fear of public speaking. So the question is, got a bit sidetracked by the new toy. What is this piece of writing revealing to you about yourself? What is this piece of writing revealing to you about yourself? Yeah, it could be your state of mind, whatever. What is this piece of writing revealing to you about yourself? So let's imagine that it's not, okay, so it's not about the situation that's making you feel this. Yeah, we know that in a way. So what's it revealing about you and your basically sanskar set? Yeah. So write down what it's revealing. First write it down. What is it revealing to you about yourself? So now you've done some cathartic writing. Now you're going to do reflective writing, yeah? Huh? Yeah, it might be just about your priorities, yeah. So what's it revealing? It might be just revealing what's important to you. If you want to meet someone and I want you to share, now you're not going to share about the content of the situation that's bothering you, because that's private, yeah? But what you're going to share is, there is this situation, don't go into the detail of it, but what this situation has come to teach me is this. Yeah? There's a situation that's going on in my life, don't go into the detail of this, but what this situation has come to teach me is this. Yeah? So if you want to meet someone and share. So there's some brothers who are left with people that they already been with before. So they need to be quick and jump up and meet someone new, meet a sister, whatever, and share. So you've got a couple of minutes, a couple of minutes each to share, and then I'll ring the bell a few times when time's up. Has everyone got a partner? Anyone not got a partner? Raise your hands if you haven't got a partner. Anyone not got a partner? Anyone not got a partner? Okay, so you can come with me. Research on writing. Just gonna. So there has been some research on writing. I think the people are called, one of them is called Penbecker, and they did some research on writing, and they took some students. And they asked some students just to, write about any experience they've had. And so they were sort of the control group. So they wrote about the experience they had. And then there was some other group of students, and they said, write about the most traumatic experience you've had in your life. So they wrote about the traumatic experience. And actually, some of them were quite distressed about writing about these experiences, and some of them were quite horrendous experiences that they had to go through. But then they got them to the ones who just writing about any experience. They said just reflect on what you've written, and they also got those who'd done the traumatic experience, reflect what you. Okay, that's what you felt like at the time. Reflect on the experience and also write about what you feel about it now. Yeah. And the people who are doing this research didn't feel that good that they had made people go back into these traumatic experiences. But then when they looked at these people after a month, they came back, and those who had just written about everyday experience, there wasn't that much change in them. But those who had written about the traumatic experience and reflected on the traumatic experience, they came back and they were saying, oh, I feel so much lighter. I feel like I've moved on from it. I feel some kind of healing's taken place. You know, thank you so much. So they started to realize that when we just write cathartically, that can be quite painful. But when we reflect on that which has been painful from the standpoint of now, it can be really healing. So in some ways, if you're writing regularly, at some point your traumas will start to reveal itself through your writing. And not to be afraid of that, because it will. Or events will start happening. I mean, when I was 18 years in Gyan, I thought, you know, oh, the last chapter of the Gita, the 18th chapter of the Gita, is embodiment of remembrance, because you've become conqueror of attachment. So I thought, oh, I think it's time that I write about my life. Because like when I came in, I wrote about my life. We were encouraged to write about this and send it off. But I realized 18 years later, I'd missed out lots, because I didn't really understand lots. And lots had been suppressed that I didn't remember. So I started writing. I did it over a period of time, and I was writing about all the things that happened in my life, the good, the bad, the ugly, the everything that I could remember. And it was this thick wad, and I thought, okay, what do I do with it now? And I happened to mention to this brother, and he said, oh, well, I'm about to go to Madhaban. I said, would you take it to Madhaban and burn it there? So I said, on the way to Swadarsan Bhavan, they've got this little furnace, and could you just put it in that and just stand there till it's all ashes, and then send me an email that you've burnt it? So we set this up. So off he goes, and I didn't hear from him, and I thought, oh, I hope he hasn't forgotten. I hope he's not carrying around, you know, this stuff. It was in an sealed envelope, but you know, it's like all the stuff that's happened to you in your life. And the interesting thing is, he said that place where they usually burn, you know what I mean? They have that little. It wasn't there. He said it wasn't there. So he said he had to find matches and find somewhere to do it and go and do a whole procedure and everything. But anyway, he eventually emailed me and said that it had been done. And I thought, in my innocence, oh, that's it now. I've cleared the account. But almost it was the beginning of a real journey about understanding what conqueror of attachment really is. And it's not a small thing. Because we think it's about detachment from people and situations, but ultimately detaching from your own thought patterns, you know, your deep thought patterns, it's a real level to become conqueror of attachment. So we're going to leave it there, but this is the link between, you know, what we write, and when we reflect on it, then it brings up some level of healing. So, you know, don't be worried about the storms of Maya, but it's what you do with it. And after the break, I'm going to show a model, or include a model of how that gives us some understanding of what it is. But I think is the tea ready? Do we know? Is it? Yeah? Because it'd be good to take a break now, and we come back just after 1:30, and then I can go, because I'm sort of at a in-between stage. So do you want to take a break now? Yeah? So if we had our remembrance, so if we come back...
Every single day.
Yeah.
It's there only because I like it. That's the whole reason. And the message is, Rohit, please use me. You haven't used me for 2 months. I'm still there. Use me and be flexible and adjustable like...
Okay. I chose a blessing card. So the blessing card is saying it's there to bless other people, to spread positivity, to show others their true qualities, strengths and purpose.
And the message that it is giving to me is that you are a very pure, positive, loveful soul. Just be your original self and keep spreading the fragrance of your divine qualities.
Om Shanti. I got an item called flower pot. So it says that I always serve you, and whenever you get up early in the morning, you just come to me and you serve the water. And in terms of water, what I intake, I give oxygen to you all the 24/7, and I do take care of you as well as the people who come to you. And the message, what he wants to give it to me, that you're blessed because of me, because of that, because I also a part of nature, and you are also a nature. So we connect to each other. That's what the whole thing. Thank you.
So the item I chose is the motivational books, which I have in the room. So it is there because it gives a unique understanding about different aspects of life. And so why the message which the motivational book want me to give is, please read me completely, because I leave it half the way. So read it completely, apply, and then again come back and check so that you can understand it more efficiently. Thank you.
Om Shanti. The item which I chose is attar. Attar is a naturally made fragrance without any alcohol. So it is fragrance. Perfume contains alcohol. Yeah, like fragrance. So message like, always try to flow the fragrance of divine virtues in your surroundings. Maintain a positive vibrations to get rid of negativity, and try to calm down this situation where there is a full of disturbances and noisiness.
Om Shanti. My object is water bottle. First, early in the morning, what comes to me is my bottle, and I drink water. So as I choose the water, I'm comparing it with the thoughts. Choose your thoughts and let them flow very freely. Do not be very rigid and choosy. This is what the message what water bottle gives to me.
Om Shanti. I chose vector space. So vector space is one poem on my wardrobe and also a room, a classroom in my house. Vector space. It's a poem and it is also a room in my house, a classroom. So the space says to me, as vector space, I say to Kuldeep that I am all accepting space. I understand and give opportunity to be, to express, to do, to laugh, to learn, to lead.
I choose my personal diary. It says to me, set free. Whatever I write it, become free. And my diary is a mirror to me. And it says, close it. The chapter is over, close it. And when we write it again, it says, now it's a new page. Every day is a new page.
Well, I chose a couple of goggles that I have, glasses. Okay, I'm there to help protect the eyes. And I have to choose, yeah. Sunglasses, yeah. Couple of pairs of sunglasses, and they are there to help protect my eyes and make me look a little more handsome. Okay. And what is the message those sunglasses are giving me? Bala, keep calm, stay protected. Keep wiping your glasses so that they don't get dusted. Don't allow your beliefs, perceptions, desires, expectations to cloud your vision. Keep them clean and clear for enjoying the world as it is, and also to look good and handsome in the process. Clean it, and what else did I write? No, but you asked me to keep writing, so without any spelling. So clean it, I don't know. and feel great about it is what I wrote at the end. Anyway, thank you.
Huh? I'll tell you something, non-BKs are in some ways less inhibited. So they're very honest in their writing, you know. So you'll be quite surprised. They do come up with some quite amazing things. And in the day, you'll see their transformation. It's amazing to watch. So even if you can't do a whole day on writing or even a little bit, it's really, to include it, it's a really nice thing to see people shift through their writing. Yeah. Okay, so, right, I'd like you to pick a number between 1 and 50. So pick a number, between 1 and 50. It could be 1, it could be 50, or any number between that, and write it down in your book. Everyone got a sheet of paper? So what you're doing on this sheet of paper is you are looking for your number. Anyone not got a sheet of paper? Have we run out? Okay, so maybe someone can have this one. I'll just note down what mine is. So make sure you haven't got two together. That means you've got over 60 here. That's, yeah. I've got another spare. Has everyone got one now? Only you? Okay. Just let's have traffic control and we'll sort the rest of this out. A letter to anyone where you feel something is not complete. For example, I was in a hit and run accident. So I got hit by a car. You know, I was in another car, I got hit by a car, and then they drove off. So I might write a letter to them to kind of finish it, to finish my feelings about it. It might be that there's someone that you wanted to say something with, but you're not in contact with them anymore. So maybe there's some kind of unfinished business. It might be that they're in your life, but there's something that you can't say to them that you wish you could. But maybe the way the relation's set up is you can't because you think they'll be offended or they're more senior to you or whatever it is. So past is past, or is it? It's getting something off your chest. Write a letter to anyone you wish that you still have something left to say. Yeah? So just take a couple of minutes to write. It may be that there's something that you wanted to say to one of your parents and now they've passed on or something. Yeah? Could be that. In this one is not that. It's about, this particular thing is about something unresolved with someone else. Yeah. You're going to write a letter to yourself in a minute. Yeah. Huh? It's more about something that's unresolved. You may not have anything, but I always think maybe there was a conversation you had and you didn't feel so good after it, and it's still outstanding. Huh? Yeah, it might not still be in a conflict with that conflict, but it's left something in you. I'm just going to explain it as it comes round. So this is called writing a letter of resignation. Yeah? So I'll read it and you'll get the piece of paper as you come. You are invited to write a letter of resignation to whomever you like and in regard to any activity or relationship to which you feel resistance. What would you like to resign from and why? Would you like to resign from your job or from a task within your work? Would you like to resign from a dysfunctional relationship? Or would you like to resign from some activity of your life, such as the care of your house, ironing, mowing the lawn? Maybe you would like to resign from something that continually causes anxiety, like going to a certain person's home for dinner or attending a group function, or perhaps you've had enough of vacuuming your children's room. So those who come for the program, they may write about this, but I think the thing that I'd like us to concentrate on, because we're more spiritually minded, or they may be too, but we are spiritually minded. However, you may also write a letter of resignation to yourself in regard to a habit, a personality trait, or an action that you no longer wish to continue. You may also write, in lieu of a letter of resignation, a letter outlining the terms with which you would consider continuing. Please note, if you decide to write either of these letters, it's probably prudent not to send it right away, if at all. Sometimes just writing the letter is enough, and then life provides the opportunity for things to shift. So I think what we will do, I mean, if you really want to write something from the above, if there's something really bugging you that you really do want to resign for, go ahead. But I think this one of a letter of resignation to yourself in regard to a habit, a personality trait, or an action that no longer wish to continue because you know it doesn't serve you or others. Okay? So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to write that, and then we'll move on. So you can always start it. I would like to resign from. And we need the lights off. Lights down. So does anybody know the film The Sound of Music? I knew Balabai would know. Okay, so this, for those who don't understand The Sound of Music came in the 1960s. It was quite revolutionary in its day, and it had someone in it called Julie Andrews, and she's got a really amazing voice. And this is just a clip from the movie. So this is something you could do. You can find clips from movies, whatever, and it's all about asking questions afterwards. So in a way, the material that you can use for writing is unlimited. Yeah? You just got to find something that you find interesting and then basically get them to watch you ask a question. So you could find something that's related to the topic that you're on. Yeah? So, okay, so write down your 5 favorite things. Write down your 5 favorite things. And shall we take it for granted that everyone likes meditation and Murli class? Should we be a bit more adventurous? Should we be a bit more revealing? So we're going to take it for granted that spiritual books, Baba's Murli, meditation is a given for this group, yeah? But what are your favorite things apart from that? Yeah, whatever you want, yeah. So what are your favorite things? It's another completely different course. So you've got another handout. But do use your other books for keeping notes about what you do. Like use the one on sleep. Start recording about your sleep. Creative visualization. Keep going with it. Use the book to experiment with. Writing, you've got the book. Use it to record what you've written. Experiment with different bits of writing. So when I do the writing course, usually for a week, I do one on a Saturday, and then there's a week gap, and then there's the next one on the next Saturday. So I encourage them to write for 20 minutes a day, every day until the next session. So you may want to take that up, because while it's in your mind, if you write for 20 minutes, you'll find lots of things come. But I say to them, it's much better, you can do 10 minutes and then 10 minutes or 5 minutes and 15 minutes, it doesn't matter. But aim for 20 minutes a day and start early in the morning. It's better to get at least 10 minutes in the morning, because at night, if it's suddenly a bit late and you do your 20 minutes, you'll go into big resistance. Yeah? You'll end up writing about why you don't want to write at night. Yeah? So if you want to write for 20 minutes, it's good to start now that you're a bit more fluid. So if you leave it for a month or something like that, you'll lose your fluidness that you've just gained today. So I suggest that. So we're going to give out these handouts. So this course is called Creating a Can-Do Attitude. Can I take you to London and you can help me in London? Sure. I'm saying, can I take them to London and they help me in London? So good. So, remember we're looking at the 4 learning styles: theorist, reflector. Do you remember the other 2? Activist and pragmatist, yeah. And what are the ways they learn? We call it VAC. Visual, auditory, kinesthetic. So as mentioned, kinesthetic is probably the hardest for us to incorporate. For this organization, in the way that we are set up, it's probably the hardest. So we've got to pay extra special attention. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some activities this afternoon, especially for those who are kinesthetic. And many of you may be kinesthetic. You may not know that you're kinesthetic because you've been in a culture that's been predominantly auditory learning. maybe visual, but predominantly auditory learning. And my parents' generation and my generation was a lot of talk. We call it talk and chalk. Teacher would say something, you write it down. They might write it on the board, you write it down. So it's not that creative learning. So, although you may be actually kinesthetic, in a way, you've been controlled into auditory learning, and you might find that if you brought more kinesthetic learning into your life, you would start learning in a different way. You would start untapping some of the learning potential inside yourself. Same with the Murli. We can access the Murli through auditory. And those who are auditory learners, in a way, it's quite easy for them. But if you're a kinesthetic learner, you'd probably function better if you drew the Murli, or at least were taking notes. You'd suddenly maybe, and there's some BKs who the whole thing is drawn. So they remember Baba's Murli by little symbols or drawing or something like that. So you can experiment with that. So let's begin. So in a way, I've put the aims of the course, but we can actually, these are probably learning outcomes. So aims of the course, but yeah. So to create a positive self-awareness. So if it's aims of the course, it's like this. But if it was learning outcomes, to be able to create positive self-awareness, access your own personal power, concentrate and focus your thoughts, sustain a positive and determined attitude, and use life's challenges to help you progress. So this is all of us. Can we use life challenges to help us progress? And when we get into the art of doing that, we can really progress quite fast. So I'd like you to think about a time when you made a successful change. And just to give you some ideas, I'll just share a couple of my own, and then you can think about for yourself. So I remember when I was a child, my dad took us swimming. There was like a public swimming pool, and my dad used to take us swimming, and I was absolutely terrified of water. So I'd be clinging on for just saying, please don't let me go, don't let me go. It's like really big fear. I don't know where that fear comes from, but there was a big fear of, you know, if he let me go, I was going to drown or something. So, so he was really good. He just kind of, you know, let me hang on to him and everything. And then we started going for swimming at school. And again, I would always stay down the really shallow end. And the teachers were encouraging, but I always stayed in the shallow end. And then one day, even in the shallow end, I managed to do like my first stroke. And then I swam a whiff. But it was still shallow, but I just managed to. And I thought, wow. So then I kind of went a little bit further and swam the whiff. Anyway, once I got this idea that I could swim, then I went on to get, you know, in personal survival, the bronze, silver, gold, and honours. It was like something switched inside me, and suddenly I became like a fish, you know, and completely overcame that fear. So that was one successful change, just to give you an idea. The other thing is I decided when I was about 20 to go live in Canada. I had this probably romantic view of Canada. We'd heard about the Rocky Mountains and the silver birch trees, something like that. And so I decided to go to Canada. But when I saw the price of the ticket, I thought it's outside my reach. And I'm one of a big family, so my parents didn't have the money. I wouldn't have even asked them. So I started doing little jobs. You know, I did this kind of job where you had to put out like tickets, and the next 2 weeks, after 2 weeks, you had to go collect it. So I was walking loads. I started doing a little job looking after some children, a little job cleaning. I was working in a cafe. I mean, I was doing, and I had a little secretarial job. So I did all these jobs, and all the money I got, I just put it in the bank, and the money started to very slowly, because none of the jobs were that well paid, so the money just started to little by little rise up. And by the time I went to Canada, I had enough to, buy new clothes, to have a new bag, and whatever. So I felt such a sense of achievement. And I remember being on that plane going to Canada, and I'm thinking, wow, I'm on my way. World's my oyster. So it was a fantastic feeling of overcoming a challenge. Another challenge I had was my career change happened when I was over 40. And also, I was already in the Brahma Kumaris, but I decided to change my career. So I moved from doing more administrative jobs or PR jobs, and then I moved to education. So I didn't even get my degree till I was in my 40s. So that was quite a big change. And I remember when I was doing the degree, and we had to do assignments, and I had no idea what the level was. I hadn't written an assignment since I was at school. So I was saying to Baba, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I just kind of followed what the tutor was saying. Anything the tutor said about assignments, I just wrote it down, kept a note. And then I remember when I got my first assignment back, I got A. And I was like, wow. So then it was like, it's like something switches in you that you can do. You can do it. And so that was another example. And I guess the other thing I'd like to share is my biggest fear when I was growing up. I was a very, very shy person. In my teenage years, my friends almost used to speak for me. I was so shy. And so the thought of actually being in front of groups and speaking like something like this would be completely unbelievable to me. So I don't know how Baba's done it, but he has. But I always, and in London, sometimes I read in the Murli in the English class, and just before I read, I think, how did you do this, Baba? How did you get that person who was so shy to be reading the Murli? So it's kind of beyond my belief. So it makes me realize if I can do that, so can everybody else. And maybe that's why I had to go through this journey in this birth, because potentially there could be some of you there who are thinking, you're looking at me thinking, oh, she's so confident. I wasn't. I've gained it as I've gone along. So those are my just little offerings. And I'd just like you to think about throughout your life when you've made a successful change. So you might want to think about the change when you made a successful change. So just I'll give you a few moments to think, and then we'll find you someone to share with. Just for one, I just giving a variety of ideas over my lifespan. But yeah, there's probably one that jumps out in your mind to you. So would you like to meet that person, one person and one soul, and share that change and the feelings that came with that change, the feelings that came in you when you made that change? Just like when I was sitting on that plane, I had an amazing feeling. So could you find someone that you haven't talked to and share your change and the predominant feeling? So let's get you to stand up, because it's almost always...
Om Shanti. So what I am going to share is, it might be little bitter, but with lot of sweetness, you please receive it. when this program was planned, we had a conversation with Sister Margaret and Didi Nirmala. And as per Sister Margaret's instructions, we limited the number to about 55 people. And we divided that number across 3 subzones and outside of Bangalore, which includes Hyderabad, Kerala and Tamil Nadu for South India. And that's why each one of you is the chosen one by your respective centers and subzone in charges. And you know the reason now, because there's a lot of preparation that she has done and a few of our brothers and sisters have done to get this complete material and create this experience. And I understand completely that some of you might be very interested, where you might want to call some of your senior brothers in the center, senior professionals whom you think might benefit from this. It's wonderful. एक घंटा भी बैठेंगे तो कुछ मिल जाएगा उनको, might be your elevated desire, but please refrain from it. It is not meant for that. We will once again come to your respective centers and arrange these programs, because when you include them, they come, they don't have the context. And then if one teacher calls them, there are other teachers who would ask, why not from our subzone? And the whole place, you know, it becomes a little confused. And we don't want to do that. And tomorrow is Sunday. So please do not take any liberties in inviting anybody else. Whoever needs to be invited has already been invited, has already been chosen, and is already here. And if anybody comes from any other center tomorrow, and if their list is not there in the registered members, we will not be allowing them. It's a little harsh, but please understand. In order to maintain this experience and for us to stand by what we promised Didi Nirmala and all the other 3 subzone in charges who have gone to great lengths to, it was really painful for them when Didi said only 39 are allowed from Bangalore. And I can understand how much each subzone in charge must have gone through to choose their 13 or 14 chosen ones. And how many questions they must be answering for their respective teachers and students. So let's respect that, and please do not invite anyone else. Okay? Thank you. Om Shanti.
And maybe in the future there's other opportunities. So as long as I'm alive. So has everyone got a little card? Has anyone not got a card? Yeah? Anyone, raise your hand if you haven't got a card. Yeah, okay, great. So we're going to use that later. That's not right for now. So what we're going to do is just going to look at, going to use this board and get some of your words up on the board. So maybe if just a little bit of help moving this in slightly. Brilliant. Thank you. So what sort of feelings come when you've made a successful change? What were the feelings from what you shared? If you could get that down to like a predominant feeling, what would be the feeling you had? Wow, I couldn't hear a word, but it sounded enthusiastic. So, liberated. Liberated. Confidence. Your confidence increases. Confidence. Maybe it's confident. Courage. You feel increased courage. Good. Capable. You feel capable. Excited. You feel a sense of, is it self-acceptance? Self-acceptance. Raise your hand so I know where it's coming from. Dedication. Satisfaction. Relief, yeah, I did it, relief. Motivated. Huh? Happy and powerful, yeah, you feel happy, powerful. I mean, you could say also empowered. That's another way of saying it, yeah, empowered. Committed. Responsible. Gratitude. Yeah, you might feel gratitude for anyone who's helped you make that change. It's fantastic, isn't it? You felt like Superman. I mean, the story of Superman is very much our story, isn't it? You know, Clark Kent, he looks ordinary, fumbles around. But when there's that moment where humanity needs it, he's Superman, isn't he? He's got all the powers. But remember, he's got one weakness. What's his weakness? Kryptonite, isn't it? It's like his Achilles heel. That makes him weak. And it's the same with us. We're super. We've got one thing probably that makes us weak. Self-respect increases. Great. Awakening. So awakening, do you mean to the possibilities, your own pure potential? Good. Any others? Achievements. There, yeah, that's right. There's a sense of achievement. Yeah? On, set, go. Yeah. It's like an enthusiasm, isn't it? Shall we put enthusiasm below it as well? Zeal. Yeah, you get zeal. You feel great. Yeah, you feel great. Yeah, that whole thing about being adventurous. Yeah, immature. You become more mature as you try new things. Hmm? Is it in what way? When you do something new? Okay, caring. One more space. Anyone got a last one? Eye-opener. Fantastic list. So just think, you just had that chance to think about a time when you made a successful change. You reflected on it and look at all the fantastic words that came out. And probably if I looked at the change that I made, probably I might think of one quality, but there's probably a lot of these other ones there as well. Yeah. So this is from another group, what they came up with. I think you've got most of these. So we did that. Positive feelings associated with a successful change. Satisfaction you had, determination. You had determination, empowered. Fulfillment, lightness, positivity. Self-confidence, creativity. Once you've done something, it opens up what more could I do? So it opens up the creative potential. Self-esteem, you had self-respect, self-esteem. That feeling of invincibility. When I was on that plane to Canada, I thought, wow, what can I not do? happiness, we have that in courage, contentment, that feeling of victory, achievement, that feeling of triumph. So very similar words. So that's great. So really, you know, when we're talking about can-do attitude, it implies movement. Something has to change. So even if you look at the word determination, in the word determination, which we need, like willpower, determination to see something through, it's got the word termination in it. So that means that in order to move forward, something has to end. Like even if you decided, oh, I want to change my career and I'm going to go to night school, for most people that means they have to let go of maybe their favorite television program. Yeah? So every time we want to move forward, and use determination, something has to be let go of because we're using our time in a different way. So why change? Big question, why change? Why change? So why change? Why do we want to bring change? Huh? Change is the only permanent thing. Well done. Why change? You live in a world of constant change. It's the only thing that is certain. If you are resistant to change, it's like trying to go against the natural force of a river. It's like trying to be a dam in a way. And if you're willing to embrace change, you start to see the enormous potential that you have. So if you only stay in your comfort zones, you never see the potential that you could have. But we get kind of comfortable, like, oh, I'm okay, this is enough. You know, and that's where we stay. So we always have to be pushing the boundary. Always be pushing the boundary. And there's a phenomenon that life starts to support you when you decide to make a change. And opportunities start to arise. Have you noticed that? Yeah. Yeah, if you do the same thing over and over again, it's like you get bored. You stay in your comfort zone, but you become dull. And almost everything you do, there's a potential risk in it. I remember when I came in August to do the training there, I did not know how it was going to be received. I had no idea. And I remember the first activity, I don't know if those who are here in August remember, I gave you 2 pipe cleaners. You picked 2 pipe cleaners. And I said, use these pipe cleaners to depict teamwork. And I could see that there was a blank. There was a blank on their face. There's a few moments when it was just like, what is she? I felt like I'd landed from like another planet. And I said in my mind, Baba, you better get down here quick and do something. And it's like a switch happened, and then they got busy. But there was a moment, do you remember? There was a moment, you're like, and then when they started getting busy, I thought, it's going to be all right, it's going to be all right. But it was a risk. I came across the ocean with a risk. Might have flopped, you know. So we have to, you know, be prepared to take some risks. So what motivates change? What motivates change? Something good is about to happen. So what motivates you to do it? Huh? Interest. It's quite interesting. I've worked out that there's 4, from my own experience, there's 4 things that make us change. Yeah? So the first one See the golden carrot? And this is the highest level of change. Realization that you are ready and willing to create it. This is the highest level of change when it comes from inside you that you want to make a change. Highest level. But often it's another level that gets us going. But this is such a high level. Seeing. We see other people's attainment and we become inspired. So we might be inspired by the daddies, the seniors, you know, we saw a friend doing something, whatever. So we get inspired. It's still high level, but the highest is when you realize yourself that you want to live your life differently. And you start thinking about how you would bring about that change. Yeah? The other level is still good. It's you're inspired, you go about make a change. Next level. This is from my experience. You may add other things. You're fed up. Sometimes that's the reason. You're fed up because you feel blah, you don't know what you're doing. It's like life starts to lose its purpose and something happens and you just think, oh, I just can't go on anymore like this. So it's not come from the highest where you're like, you just get up one morning and you're totally motivated and maybe you get an innovative idea and you think, I'm going with it. That's the highest level. It's innovation. But this level is like, you start to make the change, but it's come from kind of a lower point. Yeah? Huh? Yeah, forceful. But still, you know, sometimes we have to drop out to come up again. I think we all, on the journey, at some point, we hit rock bottom, and that hit rock bottom, we go up again. And that is the fourth level, really, is pain. Physical, emotional, mental, spiritual pain. We might be going in a certain way and suddenly we get an illness. And that illness signals that we have to change our lifestyle. We have to do something different. Or some emotional upheaval happens or something like that. So we have different motivating forces for change. But what we're looking in this course is, can I move higher up? So I don't wait till it's so painful that I change. But I've been there too. I've changed on all these reasons. Yeah, it could be an outside challenge. Yeah. So it might be, that there's no other choice. It's just pointing the way. And maybe that's, the two middle ones. You'll see other people making the change and you do it. Or there's no other option. You're in the corner and there's nowhere else to go. But that can be probably dropped to the one that's painful. Yeah? So what can you change? We can have a bit of fun here, but for other people it can be normal. So what can we change? What can you change? So let's start at the easier levels. Your hairstyle and clothes. Yeah? Have you ever done that? You're fed up and you just go get your hair cut and you feel Don't you love it? There's always one, isn't there? But even in the bald thing, there's some people who wear the bit across for quite a long time before they admit that, hey, I'm bald, yeah? So, it sounds really simple, but even when we become BKs, we might have changed our hairstyle and our clothes. But we haven't changed anything much deeper than that. But I think in the beginning, all of us do that, isn't it? Suddenly, you've got a ponytail or a plait or something, it's like... Job or career. Often happens, isn't it? You're fed up, so you think, let me change my job and it will all be better. And sometimes it is. Sometimes that's what you need to make the shift, isn't it? It does inspire. But you could change your job or career, and because the inside hasn't changed, the same patterns come up. Have you noticed that? It's the same issues, just with different people. Your house or location. Like I did, I changed countries. I've moved internationally twice in my life. So those are quite big changes, but again, it's like we get fed up with one house, we move somewhere else. And for a while we do, the novelty of it sustains us. Relationships and social scene. In the world, people are doing this a lot, isn't it? The relationship is kind of on its way out and then they make a change, where my parents' generation worked through things. I mean, I have to tell you something about my mother here. I have never, ever heard my mother say anything about my father. Ever. Never, ever heard her say a negative thing about my father. But she has kept that relationship going. And my father is a fantastic character, but, you know, sometimes. But she's always, you know, she just doesn't get into it. But she's a very strong person. So, you know, in their generation, they worked through things, they worked it out. In the current generation, if it's not working, I don't know in India, but in the West, it's like, get out of it. And it's quite easy now, too. So, but, you know, we could go through all that. We'd make all these changes, they're external changes, and still we might not be satisfied with ourselves. And this is what happens, in fact, in that Shakti Gwain about creative visualization. People start to make changes, or they want things, and then they get there and it doesn't make them feel happy. So how can you make a deeper, longer lasting change? What kind of change makes a deeper, longer lasting change? Internal change. So what things are we looking at to change? Habits, beliefs, attitudes, perceptions, way of thinking, our thinking, and what usually comes after thinking? Feelings, isn't it? So we could put more on this list, but I'd put these ones. Thoughts, feelings, attitudes, and perceptions. And people will be fine with that. They realise that it's got to be, because they've been through all the other stuff, and they know that they're looking for something a bit deeper. So how to bring about change, how to bring in the change. And this is a kind of interesting way of looking at change. When my thoughts about myself and my life change, change will automatically start to happen externally. So it goes back again to when you change the inside, the outside starts to change. But we're talking about a paradigm shift here, because most people change the external because that's what they know, really. So in the old paradigm, let's change the external so I feel better. And we're talking about let's change the internal and see how that manifests. But even as, you know, BKs, we can still be trying to change the outside. Yeah. And ultimately, no one can force me to change. It's up to me. When I'm ready to live differently, it will happen. So what we're saying here is, I mentioned there's two ways you can live your life. What's going on? How do I feel? And if you look at your life and all the times you've ever been upset or unhappy or ever, what's going on? How do I feel? If you check your life, and that is the paradigm of the world that we're living in. So, you know, I feel it's a bit hot, so I open the window. You know, gets a bit cold, I close the window. So we're always adjusting ourselves so that we feel good. And we're adjusting the environment so that we feel good. Yeah? So the whole of the world is based on this paradigm. What goes on? How do I feel? That what's going on, how do I feel, is leading to wars, is leading to, you know, lots of things in the world, yeah? What's going on, how do I feel? So what we're doing is we're making the shift from how do I feel, so I'm investing in getting myself right, and then, okay, so now what's going on? And when I've made that shift inside me, I will start investing in how do I feel and do my utmost to get that right, which is in a way what Baba's world is. Get the inside right and see how it manifests. And that is the creative process. Everyone okay with that? But you check your life, go back, all the times you felt unhappy or whatever, it was all based on and how you felt about it. And if from this day onwards you ever feel upset or disgruntled or discontent, you can guarantee what's going on, how do I feel? But all the drama is now pointing to help us shift. Yeah? So what is needed for change to occur? 3 main things. And they all need to be in place for change to happen. This is the big one. Recognition of the need to change. So often we think the other person needs to change. Yeah? So even to get to this point, you need quite a lot of self-reflection. So often we're still out there. Something out there or someone out there needs to change, and then my life's going to be good. There has to be the desire or motivation to change. So sometimes we get the inkling it's about me, but I'm not motivated enough to kind of dig deep and see what it is. And you need the methods and skills to change. So sometimes we know that we need to change, we want to change, but we're a bit helpless in how to do it. Okay, just 2 more slides. So the benefits of change. Benefits of change. Just run through them quickly. Every positive change you make, even if it's small, you benefit. I mean, maybe many other people will benefit from your change, but the most important thing is that you benefit. It makes you feel good about yourself, and we saw that. Beautiful qualities that you wrote up on the board. Your self-belief increases. When you make a successful change, it's like your self-belief just increases. That's enough to say. It's as if the sunshine has come out in your life and everything seems brighter and lighter and easier. Life starts to flow more naturally. When you start to make changes, it's almost like the universe is there to help you. So, ability is what you're capable of doing, but we can increase our ability. We can always increase our ability. Motivation determines when you do it. So how motivated you are. You may have this idea, but you're not really that motivated to do it. Intention determines why you do it. So it's really, really important, your intention. Why are you doing what you're doing? And another really important one, attitude determines how you're doing it. So in the whole game of change or task or anything, your attitude determines how you do it, how accurately you do it, how well you do it, what's your consciousness when you're doing it, all these. And these all affect the outcome. Yeah. So I remember Daddy Janky, like we'd just be finished a big program, you know, and you just want to kind of take it all in and rest and just say, what's next? You know, it's like trying to keep motivating us. Okay, so I'll leave it there for a moment. So I have a little activity for you, and it's on a piece of paper. So this activity is called Flower Power. So take a piece of paper, pass it on. So this is about asking yourself things that you like to do, activities that you like to do. Who hasn't got a piece of paper yet? Everyone got one? And just need one to come back to me. Probably. Just for now, and I can give it back to you, yeah. So we're looking at the first side, part A. Think of 3 activities that you really like doing. And what I mean by this is when you're doing that activity, time just goes by, but you just really enjoy it. It doesn't matter that time's gone by. Yeah? So I'm going to give you an example. There was a group I had, and I remember 4 of them. So in this group, we went to company, and we divided up into group, and I had 4 people, and they were all in male bodies. And we did this activity, and one said that they like mountain bike riding. They like mountain bike riding. The other one said that he liked playing the guitar. And the third one said he loved work. So I said, what specifically about work do you like? And he was a mechanic, and he said, I love fixing cars. Just love it. And the fourth one said, I love stamp collecting. So they were very, very diverse. So I got them to write down what it was they liked about it. And the mountain bike rider said, when I get on that mountain bike and I usually go out with my friends, he said, it's just like I leave the city behind and I feel so calm and all the stress goes away and I feel I'm on an adventure and I feel the camaraderie with my friends, and we just go out and we have a really nice time out in nature, really appreciate it, feel so grateful for life. That's what I feel. The one who was like playing the guitar, he said, I love to be in the quiet in the evening and strum my guitar, and sometimes I feel there's some songs, I don't know where they come from, they seem to come from nowhere. And I just love the solitude and silence of it and the creativity that kind of comes naturally when I'm playing the guitar. So I thought, wow. And then the one who fixes the car, he said, I love problem solving. I love it when the car's all out there on the ground, the engine's all in pieces, and I love you know, putting it back together and making something that was not working work again. He goes, I just love that sense of achievement when it is, I've got it all back together. But it is very interesting. So I thought, what's the stamp collector going to tell me? So the stamp collector said this. He said, I have my stamp collection up in the attic. He said, I open that door and I walk up the steps and I close the door behind me. And as I'm walking up those steps, I feel all the pressures of life just melting away. And up there in my attic, I've got a table, I've got stamps laid out, I've got a computer set up so I can research where the stamps come from. He says, when I'm up there in that attic, the world does not exist for me. I just feel completely blissful. And I thought, wow. I'm doing meditation to get that. So this is the sort of thing. So you write down 3 activities that you just really enjoy. And you'll see that under 1 you write, why do you like doing that activity? And what feeling do you get when what feeling does it evoke? What do you feel whilst you're involved in it? So I'll just give you a chance to write those down. Okay, have you written about your 3 things? Good. So if you turn over the page, it asks you to write down the one that you did most recently. Because I've had people say, I love skiing, but they haven't done it like for 15 years. Yeah, so from the 3, you have to, if you look at part B, it says, which activity have you done most recently? So just write it there. Yeah? And I'd like someone to volunteer their activity. Need one person. Balabai, come on down, Balabai. Okay, so we're going to actually do it over here. So if we bring this in, and we don't need the screen for a moment, so we can bring it right in. Yeah. Thank you. Can everyone see the board? As long as everyone can see it, that's fine. Everyone can see it? You can't see? You can? Yeah. Can you see the green? No. Yeah. Can you see the red? Oh, that's hopeless. No. Okay, so let's go with blue and black. It's always worth checking because if anyone's in the room colourblind, they won't see green and red. Not saying that you were. You're a bit distant from the thing, but... okay, so blue. And, yeah. I got black. So can I just have the top for a minute? Thanks. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so... Actually, I've got it in the wrong position. Where's that board rubber again? Let's start again. That's it. Just get it a bit lower. So, Balabai, what is the activity that you really like doing, that you did most recently?
Yeah, preparing and delivering a talk.
Okay, brilliant. Preparing and delivering a talk. Okay, so could you tell us why you like that activity?
Yeah, I love learning.
Okay, so love of learning. Great. Anything else?
And structuring the complex information and simplifying it so that the audience gets it.
Okay.
That gives me a good kick.
Okay, so let's think how we put that in a phrase.
Simplifying the concepts.
Simplifying the concepts. I'm just going to put simplifying concepts.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, anything else?
Yeah, and I enjoy that spark in the eyes when they get their aha moment.
Okay, so enjoy others' aha.
Yeah.
Okay, great. What else? Okay, so what does it, can you go more into the feel of it? Maybe
yeah, it gives me a deep sense of achievement and contribution.
Okay, so we're going sense of achievement.
And a deeper sense of contribution.
Okay, sense of contribution. Yep.
Yeah, feeling of adding value.
Feeling of adding value. Great. What, anything else?
Yeah, it feels really good.
Brings a feel-good factor.
Yeah.
Okay, does anyone else in the audience, is it all right if I ask the audience, is anyone else in the audience like doing this activity? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Does anyone else like this activity? Okay, so Can you suggest, from your experience, when you do this, when you prepare and deliver, I think that's meant to preparing and delivering a talk, what feeling does it give you? So, would you like to add that? Does it make you have that sense of creativity?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other feeling you get? Okay, use of time in a good way. So what does that make you feel when you use your time in a good way?
Worthwhile.
Feel worthwhile. Yeah. So feeling productive, that's probably it. Feeling productive. And time used in worthwhile way. Anything else? Purpose. You feel sense of purpose. Sense of purpose fulfilled. Great. Would you agree with that? Happiness of sharing?
Yeah.
Happiness of sharing.
It's more fun. I would put more as fun.
Fun. Great. Or happiness of sharing. That's good. Anyone else who's
aha
done...
Aha moment is for the audience. When I see their aha moment, I feel good.
Yeah. Learning about yourself. Do you learn about yourself as you do it?
About the subject, yes, but sometimes.
Yeah.
Not always.
Yeah, okay. So from my experience of preparing a talk and seeing it happen, there's a sense of satisfaction when because you're writing it, you're typing it up, and you don't know quite how it's going to go, and there's a sense of satisfaction when it works. Is that okay? Do you like that?
It's slightly different for me because while a lot of times when I'm preparing, I get that feel. Yes, it's going to be good and I will be able to do it. Over the years, that's the kind of, you can call it premonition that I built.
Okay, so if we put that into a feeling, what would that be?
I don't know, I mean, enjoying the success that it's definitely going to happen.
It's like destined.
Yeah, it's destined to happen.
Success is destined.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, it goes to what Baba says, that feeling of being carefree, because it's already happened.
Yeah, okay. You can add that, carefree. Did you want to add one? Do you have that, the excitement of meeting new people? Good, we'll add that one.
I think more than meeting new people, I would say excitement of making new friends.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Balabai. That's been excellent. So, in a way, this becomes hidden in that activity. There's lots of amazing qualities. Yeah? So now, Balabai's given us the example, and he can take another one of another one from his list. But you're going to do the thing. You're going to put in the center the last one you did, and get an idea of the qualities that are behind that activity. Because every activity is packed with qualities. Yeah? Even if you like sewing, you need, even to do sewing, you need accuracy. You need commitment. You need, in a way, love of solitude. Everything. There's everyone. So I'd like you to just fill in, see if you can fill in all the petals with the qualities that you experience behind that activity. Clear? Everyone clear? So it might be that you like walking in the park. That's fine. Because then there would be appreciation of nature. So there'd be appreciation, maybe gratitude, self-care. Yeah? So I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that until the bell rings. I think you probably got up to, there's a traffic control at 6, is there? Yeah, so up till the traffic control. So is everyone done, or do they need more time? Need a bit more time? You done? Okay, so leading up to traffic control, it's about to go in at the moment. I want you to think of an activity that you really don't like doing. Cleaning the drains, washing the car. Is there an activity in your life that you put off, tidying your drawer? You open the drawer and you think, oh, put it back in again. So maybe there's an activity you don't like doing. Can you look at your list of qualities that you have for the activity you do like and see if there's one in there that you could transfer over to the activity you don't like? Because ultimately it's not about the task. Life is about what you're feeling. Yeah? So see if there's one quality that could help you in that activity that you're not so keen on. And if you kept that sense of that feeling while you did it, what might be the difference? Yeah? So we've all got things we put off, we don't like doing, the accounts, the end of year, the whatever. Yeah? And I'm not sure what's happened to traffic control. Is there one at 6? No, you sure? So we'll have our minute anyway. If it comes on, fine. If not. Bit of patience, Sister Margaret. Invite you behind the lines. There's a red line. The red line is obvious if you invite you to come behind that. Yeah? So I think, I think that's fine. We can all do it at once. So any other sisters like to join? Count to 3. Keep an eye on your ball and see if you can get it in that bin. Okay. So I'm doing it from here. You've got a better angle than me. Okay. So you ready? 1, 2, 3. You were meant to do it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Wow. Okay. 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 So if you'd like to stand back over there, if you'd like to head over there, and of course we know that brothers have more strength. It's just a phenomenon of life, yeah? So sisters, could you please move over there? Please move over there and give the brothers a chance. So hold on to your other ball, yeah? So don't go sit down. Excuse me. Don't go sit down. Could you please go stand over there? Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. No worries. Okay, so go over there. So now we're going to give the brothers a chance. So could the sisters really move right back and give the brothers a chance, just like they gave to you? That's great. So brothers, I invite you behind the line. And on the count of 3, you're all going to throw together and see if anyone lands in this bin. And we've got a brother there checking. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, go. Distance, you've got the distance, right? Okay, so only one of your balls you're throwing, yeah? Only one of your balls you're throwing. Okay, so brothers, move aside. Sisters, you learned something from it. Yeah? You learned something. Oh. You learned something from it. So, okay, come back behind the line, please, if you would like to. And then, first group. So, sisters, you've now got your other ball. Those who've already thrown their ball.
Those who already threw the ball, they are the ones who need to stand behind the line.
Yeah.
Those who already threw the ball.
Okay. So, on the count of 3, let's give it another go. Could we get brothers out of the way to give them a chance? Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. Someone went, almost was the distance. Wow. Did anyone go in? Okay. 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 All right, so the brothers. Let the brothers have a go. Let the brothers have a go. So we know you've got more strength. Some of yours went past, so it is possible. It's just about getting it in. So sisters, could you stand right back so they have a chance? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, everyone thrown? Okay, so some were very, very close. So let's sit down and have a look what happened. It looks like it's been snowing. Don't worry, don't worry. No. We'll do that at the end. You read the board, yeah. Okay, so I want you to think about, don't worry, just leave it there. Just want you to think about why your balls did not go in the bin. Why did your balls not go in the bin? Okay, let's get a list. Yeah, if you could take a photo now, because I'm going to use that board. So if we could turn the board so, you know, people can... Okay, what else would you like to add? Okay, ball too light to carry distance. Okay, that's good. That's fair enough. It was, I think you're right there. Raise your hand if you're going to say something. So distance too far. Is it all right if I write it like that? Distance too far. How about the sister's side? We'll come back to the brothers. Why did your balls not go in the bin? Not possible. Thought. Not possible. Okay, great. Thank you for offering that. Any others from the sister's side? Bucket too small. Ball too light to carry distance. Okay, anything else you'd like to add? Huh? No practice. Too crowded. Yeah, that's pretty valid. Some were at the back. They could have moved to the side, but they were behind, yeah? No energy. Yeah, I mean, even though we've had, you know, because of that meeting this afternoon, no chance to rest, no energy. So no energy, yeah. No energy. Any more from the sister side? Not properly focused. Not properly focused. We'll go to the brothers and we'll come back, yeah? Back to the brothers. Poor visualization. Do you mean like you couldn't see? Just clarify. Or is it to do with yesterday's course? Poor visualization. So it could be either you can't see it or... I mean, that is true. If you had visualized it going in, maybe it might have been different. So good point. Any others from the brothers? What? Someone moved the bin. Sumit's presence. I did feel that a little bit. Sumit's presence was distracting. Yeah, we've got that somewhere. Bucket too small, so we can call it bin or bucket. No one showed you how to do it. Huh? So mind was busy or occupied. Mind was busy in crushed paper, maybe thinking, oh, that's a waste of paper, the trees, you know, preoccupied. Back to the brothers. Not proper planning. I think we've got room for maybe two more. Okay, so not listening. What? Stressed and nervous. Okay, strengths and nervous. Okay, we're going to have these two, and that's the last. Okay, Not enough cricket. And the sister over here? Not enough chances, okay. Not enough chances. And I think I got space for this last brother. Yeah? No reward. No reward or motivation. Or motivational force. Okay, so there's this little cartoon. I'm not sure if it still exists, but most things are now up on YouTube, right? And there's this little cartoon that I used to watch in probably, the 60s or early 70s. And it's this guy, and he's also not quite, he's a bit of a, his character is, he's a bit kind of devious, his character, but he's got this little dog called Muttley. And he asks Muttley to do things for him, and Muttley will not do anything till he already gets his medal before. Before he does anything, he wants the medal. Yeah, it's quite a funny little cartoon. So it's a bit like that, no reward or motivation. Okay, so let's go behind the line. Let's go back behind the line. Hold them up. She looks like she's cut it with the scissors. Excellent. Quite good. Yeah, the best I've seen so far is Geeta. Pretty good. Pretty good. Quite good. Few little... Excellent. Looks like she's done it with a razor edge. Oh, slightly at the bottom, no, but it's pretty good. Good one. Yeah, this is fantastic. Pretty good. Yeah, you can't hardly tell. A few little things like this. Okay, let's see how the brother... Oh, there's some more sisters. Pretty good. Bit sort of... Okay, let's see the brothers. Bit of like a dent there. Quite good. Quite good. Yeah. Let's hold them up. Let's see. Yeah, need a bit more practice there. Pretty good, this one. Yeah, very good. Yeah, some of these are really good. This one, wow, from here, looks like almost like, no, razor edge. Very good. Pretty good. Very good. Yeah, almost, but you've got a little bit here. Yeah. This one's quite good. I tell you, in the other group in Pune, there was a couple I could not tell. I mean, unbelievable, right? But there was, Geeta's was pretty good. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, these are pretty good. Yeah, catching up with Pune now. Okay, so you've got your 2 pieces of paper. So what are you feeling now? Bit sad? But life's like that, isn't it? Maybe you do a piece of work and you put a lot of energy into it and attention, and suddenly your boss says, that's not good enough. Life's like that, okay. But now, look, see what has happened. You've got 2 balls. So now you're ready for the game, yeah? I'm going to take some help for a moment. So you just think about what you felt. You can write down what you felt. And maybe there's something going on in your own life where you felt the same thing. Worth checking. Okay, what else would you like to add? Okay, ball too light to carry distance. Okay, that's good. That's fair enough. It was, I think you're right there. Raise your hand if you're going to say something. So distance too far. Is it all right if I write it like that? Distance too far. How about the sister's side? We'll come back to the brothers. Why did your balls not go in the bin? Not possible. Thought. Not possible. Okay, great. Thank you for offering that. Any others from the sister's side? Bucket too small. Ball too light to carry distance. Okay, anything else you'd like to add? Huh? No practice. Too crowded. Yeah, that's pretty valid. Some were at the back. They could have moved to the side, but they were behind, yeah? No energy. Yeah, I mean, even though we've had, you know, because of that meeting this afternoon, no chance to rest, no energy. So no energy, yeah. No energy. Any more from the sister's side? Not properly focused. Not properly focused. We'll go to the brothers and we'll come back, yeah? Back to the brothers. Poor visualization. Do you mean like you couldn't see? Just clarify. Or is it to do with yesterday's course? Poor visualization. So it could be either you can't see it or... I mean, that is true. If you had visualized it going in, maybe it might have been different. So good point. Any others from the brothers? What? Someone moved the bin. Sumit's presence. I did feel that a little bit. Sumit's presence was distracting. Yeah, we've got that somewhere. Bucket too small, so we can call it bin or bucket. No one showed you how to do it. Huh? So mind was busy or occupied. Mind was busy in crushed paper, maybe thinking, oh, that's a waste of paper, the trees, you know, preoccupied. Back to the brothers. Not proper planning. I think we've got room for maybe two more. Okay, so not listening. What? Stressed and nervous. Okay, strengths and nervous. Okay, we're going to have these two, and that's the last. Okay, not enough cricket. And the sister over here? Not enough chances, okay. Not enough chances. And I think I got space for this This last brother. Yeah? No reward. No reward or motivation. Or motivational force. Okay, so there's this little cartoon. I'm not sure if it still exists, but most things are now up on YouTube, right? And there's this little cartoon that I used to watch in probably, the 60s or early 70s. And it's this guy, and he's also not quite, he's a bit of a, his character is, he's a bit kind of devious, his character, but he's got this little dog called Muttley. And he asks Muttley to do things for him, and Muttley will not do anything till he already gets his medal before. Before he does anything, he wants the medal. Yeah, it's quite a funny little cartoon. So it's a bit like that, no reward or motivation. Okay, so let's go behind the line. Let's go back behind the line. Here we go. Baba, this one's for you. Not in the drama. Okay, so let's go back along the behind the line. You just leave them there for now. Okay. You don't need any. Throw the ball. So basically, stand behind the line and throw. The aim was to get the ball in the net. So I'm going to just go through the instructions that I actually gave. The instructions that I gave were, I invite you behind the line. So it's an invitation, not a compulsion, yeah? It's an invitation. I invite you behind the line. Your aim is to get the ball in the bin. And then I said, all together, 1, 2, 3. The second time I said, what did you learn from it? Especially with the sisters, what did you learn from it? I didn't say anything else. I just said 1, 2, 3. So at that point, you could have said 1, 2, 3. Yeah? And some sisters actually were a little bit more creative, yeah? So I'd like you to come down and sit in your seats now. And let's look at, why did your balls not go in the bin? Why? So why did your balls not go in the bin? Put your hand up and then I'll... Not attentive. Peer pressure. I think that's probably quite true. What's another way of saying peer pressure? Going with the herd, yeah? So we go with the crowd, yeah? So we could call it going with the crowd. With the crowd or herd. And in the West we call this sheep consciousness. Sheep consciousness. Okay, brilliant. What? Huh? Blindly following. There's a phrase, when the blind lead the blind, they both fall down the... You know that phrase? When the blind lead the blind, they both fall down the pit. Yeah? So, over to the sisters. Why did your balls not go in the bin? We'll come back to the brother. Put your hand up and one person speak at a time, please. No plan. Pre-assumptions. So what's going on that you didn't? Not thinking out of the box, yeah? Not thinking out of the box. Hands up. So yeah, it leads to lack. This one, Lack of creativity. Not focused. Lack of grasping power. Okay. Fear of not being accepted. Yeah? So fear of not being accepted. So that's quite a big one, isn't it? That's what keeps us staying in the crowd. Yeah? We do what everyone does because we want to be accepted. Careless because the stakes were not high. Stakes. No seriousness. So what is that if we could sum it up into? Yeah. Yeah. So it's about not standing in your own power in a way, is it? So kind of maybe lack of independence? Yeah? I mean, going against the grain, it's the same as sheep consciousness, really, isn't it? It's the same thing, but it's like a little bit else. Anything else from the brothers? Wrong perception. I think we've got something like this, but let's go. Wrong perception. Anything else from the brother's side? Hard worker rather than being a smart worker. Hard rather than smart worker. Okay. Okay, so any more from the brothers? Right, let's go for these last two, and then we'll go back to anyone from the sisters. Instruction not repeated again. Huh? Test came before the lesson. What do you think of that one, Baba? Usually the case, isn't it? You asked us not to do it before? Yeah. Some had already done that, so I'd asked them not to, Yeah. In what way? It's a good one. What way? Hang on. Prejudiced. Is that right? Oh, yeah, that's it. Lost the J. Okay, thank you. So again, it's a bit like, okay, follow the leader, isn't it? I also think that there's something about conforming. I think it's a little bit going with the crowd herd thing, but I think there's also something about because the line is red. I think there is something about that, because we're taught from when we're very little that red means danger. So when the brother went to get the tape, I said, if you can get red, best. So if you're doing this experiment and you can get red tape, because red means to cross a red line, we don't realize, but there's something in that we've been trained, red means danger. So it's kind of subconscious, yeah? So I would say that there's some subconscious mindsets, yeah. So this is the why we do things, but we're not really sure why we do it. Which is why, you know, the daily teachings are trying to crack these deep belief systems, yeah? So fantastic. I think you did really good. Give yourself a round of applause. Big shift from here to here, yeah? So I'd like you to take this information, and I'd like you to think about yourself in the workplace or if you're in the service place. And is there something that's not working and you're here? You're making some kind of excuse. Yeah? You're making some kind of excuse. And how might you move to being a bit more honest about it? Yeah? Yeah? So I'd like you to just have a go at that for the moment. Just to think about, is there something in your life that's not quite working? Maybe at work, in the center, maybe it's a task, activity, a relationship. What are the excuses you're making? And what is really the thing? Yeah? And while they're doing that, we can do a bit of a tidy up. So while you're doing that, we'll do a bit of a tidy up. did you learn about yourself as an individual? Did you totally engage? Were you engaged? Were you someone who stayed back, let other people do it? What was your individual, what's your learning from that? And then as a team, what did you learn about team and cooperation? So we're going to have till 7:35. So the first bit to ask yourself these questions, and then we'll go into meditation. But I haven't laughed so much for ages, so it's been great. It's great, everyone has fun, whatever, but you need to bring them back. So the questions that you ask are highly important, something that makes them look at themselves or the teamwork. But do you remember you had this card? So I want you to find it again. Take it out of your bag, your pocket, your folder. And again, no one else needs to know about this. But I'd like you on the other side to up your game of the reason that you get up in the morning. So whatever you put, can you up your game a little? So that means a higher level of reason for getting out of bed. So you might have already put something like serve the world, or you might have already put, you know, love for Amrit Vela. That's fine, but can you maybe be more specific or raise it even higher? Yeah? People, could you raise your hand? You're not clear. Okay, so you wrote something on the card. So what I'm asking you is to lift the level of why you're getting up in the morning. Can you raise the bar? I don't know if there's someone needs to explain it in Hindi or the local language. It's clear? Everyone's clear now? Anyone not clear? Okay, so on the other side of the card, shift your level. But within your reach, yeah? So again, smart, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. So for example, you may have put, because I got to go to work, so you might want to raise, I want to serve people at work, yeah? That'd be raising the bar. You might put Amrit Vela because of Amrit Vela, but you might want to raise the bar and say, I want to serve like an angel. Do you see how you're raising the bar? You're raising your level. So that ends today's fun. Hope it was fun. Hope you enjoyed. It was a really great team, group. So, most welcome.